Hey guys, this is Stelly after with Closeout. In today's video, what you're going to learn is how to outcompete your competition by actually giving their pitch to your customers and prospects. How do you deal with customers that are super competitive and research-based in nature, that like to create a market and go out there and look at all the options, get all the different vendors to pitch them before they actually make a decision? I'm going to show you that in this video. But before we go into it, I'm going to start off with the 10-day challenge that I made for myself for these videos. This is day number 2. And the challenge is to actually be more quotable and experiment with thinking about my ideas and the way that I communicate in smaller, more compressed, more essence-based quotes. I'm going to try a few of these in this video. I'm probably going to look pretty stupid in the name of progress. Please give me some feedback in the comments. Let's see if I can actually improve my quotability game over the next 10 days. All right, so here's the story, right? This is 10 years, 12 years ago, when I was actually doing, maybe even longer, 15 years ago, when I was actually doing sales in the financial services market. I was a pretty young kid, 19 years old, was doing pretty damn well in the market, better than I actually thought I would. And I had this one potential client that was a huge whale for me at the time, somebody that was willing to invest a few million, right? That was massive for me. And the guy was, 55 years old, was somebody that was a professional buyer. His job was actually, he was working for one of the largest retail chains in Europe, and his job was to travel around Europe and find locations to open new stores, mainly locations in large shopping malls. So this guy was a pro in actually negotiating, researching, talking to multiple potential vendors and actually making a final choice on where that retail chain had to open. So his mindset was all about going out in the real world and researching all the options before making a final decision. When I had my first meeting with him, he actually told me, listen, Stelly, I want to be honest with you. I am not going to buy from you without actually talking to a bunch of other people and getting really educated about the market. I want you to know that. And I said, you know what, actually, not only do I like that approach, I appreciate it. I want you to only buy from me if you actually checked out the competition, if you know that what I'm offering you, the ideas that I'm sharing with you are the best ones for you, all right? So here's what I did. After I left that first initial meeting, I had to think about this again and again and again, and I started wondering, I wonder what these other competitors are actually going to tell him. And eventually I thought, you know what, why do I wonder? This kind of sucks. This is totally outside my control. Now I'm gonna do my job in pitching him what I think he should be doing with his money and where he should invest. But then it's kind of out of my control because it's gonna depend on the market and my competitors, how good or bad of a job they're going to do will influence my chances of success. So here's what I did. I was like, you know what, one afternoon, I took off from the office and I said, you know what, I'm gonna actually go to all the major banks in that area. I'm gonna have them actually consult me on his case, just to see what the competition actually says in these situations. So it was walking to these banks, asking for, the team that would do the financial investments, and I would sit down and I would actually give them one by one his situation. I would represent him myself and say, you know what, I have this amount of capital to invest. This is the investments I've made so far. These are my needs. These are my challenges. What would you recommend me to do? I want help. And one by one, the entire afternoon, I would actually get these, professional financial advisors to give me their pitch, to give me their best run, to give me their best ideas. And I would collect these ideas. And you know what happened? A couple of interesting things. Number one, every single time I came out of a pitch, I was even more confident that I would win his business. It was actually a pretty educational and eye-opening event because, to be frank, and I might have been a little cocky, I was not really impressed by the pitches that I got and the ideas that they shared with me. The other thing that I did is I started becoming more educated about kind of the tactics, the ideas, and the things that these organizations try to sell. And with many of them, I could see their own kind of agenda behind the things they recommended me. I knew exactly why they recommended me this exact product, and I kind of started gaining more and more intelligence and context around the marketplace and my competition. So at the end, every time I went to a bank, I actually got the material, got their recommendations, told them that I would actually talk to some other banks and some other financial service providers, and then make my final decision. And at the end, I had like a stack of papers and different ideas from all these different institutions. What did I do? I called the potential client and I told him, listen, I have some pretty amazing information for you. Let's set up a meeting. I know that you haven't had a chance yet to do your research, but let's set up a meeting. I want to quickly chat for 30 minutes. I'll drop by your office. He said, sure, come by, Stelly. So here's what I do. I actually show up and I say, you know what? I was actually so curious to hear what my competition is going to actually advise you to do and what their sales pitch is going to be, that I actually spent my last afternoon going to all my competitors and having them pitch me on what you should do with your money. And he started laughing like crazy. He's like, you're not serious, right? And I pull out this huge stack of paper from with all these different logos from all these different financial institutions. And I said, do I look serious to you? And he started laughing. And I said, you know what? No, seriously, let's go through this. Actually, I just want to save you some time. Right? Let's go really through this. Here's what this bank said. So I went yesterday. They recommended me buying this exact product. Here's how it works. Here's why I think they recommended it. What do you think? You're interested? He's like, no way. I threw it away. I took the next brochure. I said, here's the next one. Here's what they told me to do if I were you. And here's what exactly they recommended me. And here's why I think they did that. Interested? And he said, no. And I actually threw those things in his office on the ground. Next one. Next one. We went through 6 or 7 of these. And at the end, I told him, you know what? Here's what I would tell you to do. And I gave him my pitch. You know what he did? He leaned forward and he said, you know what? Nobody has ever given me this kind of a pitch. I don't need to see the competition. I don't need to do any more research. I totally get it. Let's get into business together. I want to invest with you. Right? If you're not actually going out, becoming a potential customer of your competitors, your prospect and customers will be. If you're not a customer of your competitors, your prospect, your customers eventually will be. And that opened my eye to all the possibilities when you're actually out in the marketplace, having your competitors pitch you, potentially buying their products and services, really getting educated and really getting all the context around what's out there in order to be able to better serve your customers, to know when you're the right fit for them or somebody else, to know what your competitors are currently saying out in the market, and to actually, when people are heavily into research and doing competitive analysis, how to actually shorten the time to close by actually doing the work for them, because then you are in complete control of the sale. And now, I'm not free of any kind of hypocrisy here, because I realized when I thought about making a video and sharing this tactic with you and remembering this sales event that was a huge success in my life early on, that with my current business with Close.io, we don't do any competitive research whatsoever. We actually don't believe in focusing on our competitors, and we constantly preach focus on your customers. We're obsessed with our customers and we ignore our competition. But to quote my friend Jay-Z, I'm Che Guevara with bling on, I'm complex, right? So things are complex, and actually inspired by this video, we may or may not start becoming more of a customer to our competitors, and I actually wrote down 2 or 3 prospects of buyers that we're talking to today with Close.io that we know are doing research, are talking to our competitors, and actually taking more control over the situation and trying this tactic that I did when I was 19, trying that tactic today. So what should you do? The same exact thing. Why don't you write down and think about 1 or 2 prospect deals that you have in the pipeline, where if you actually called your competitors or showed up at their offices and had them pitch you on their ideas for this specific use case, if you can take that information, bring it back to your prospect to make them believe in your solution even more and to take away the need for them to do any kind of research. If you're hustling hard and if you're hustling every single day, I hope you take what you learned from this video, now you go and get them.